Welcome to part 13 of the Dwarfs campaign Abridged. Last time we absolutely annihilated some more Beyondlings when they showed up for the second time. Then we went off to fight Chaos with our main force. We took out some of the Chaos forces harassing the Dwarves, and now we've got some more to kill. We've just seen a couple of places get razed by these guys right here. They want to attack us. Well, fine. We happen to end up with a river crossing battle, which is absolutely ideal for our army setup, of course, because the enemy will be funneled in front of our army, and that's where the deadly bit is. Before they arrive though, there will be a brief artillery battle as our tanks fire at them and their hell cannon fires at us. Once they're in range, the torpedo launchers start firing, or the rocket launchers I should say, now, and that's going to do the business, the usual business. You can see that sometimes you actually can't see the rockets going in because it doesn't load the particle effects. Maybe there's a limit to how many particles can be on screen at once. Well, plenty of rockets are falling in this area as the enemy are getting the worst of it. You might have spotted our gyrocopters back there. Went to the wrong side of the battlefield to stop the hell cannons early, so we are going to be bombarded throughout the battle, unfortunately. Well, I suppose we're in no position to complain about being bombarded given what's happening to Chaos right now. They did use some magic to almost kill one of my axe units at a distance, and their hell cannon has taken out some portions of our units. Check out the reload speed on these rocket launchers. That is, no reload speed whatsoever. They can just continuously launch without reloading. Well, that's good news. They get through their ammo real fast and kill real fast. I think it's inefficient though because they are firing some of their rockets at units that are effectively already dead, so a slower reload speed might actually make them a bit more powerful as the battle goes on. Well, anyway, we kill them big time. Eventually the gyrocopters get back there and stop the hell cannon. They also stop time by the looks of things. Not quite sure what's going on here. Probably just replay mess ups. And there we go, time is back. The battle is won. The enemy are fleeing. They didn't get anywhere near our positions, and we didn't take many losses, as you might imagine. That's one more Chaos army off the table and a level 102 enemy general killed. I've seen a lot of generals that are level 102, not quite sure how they've achieved that. It usually only goes up to 40, but you know, chaos magic and all that. After the battle, I'm moving west. I'm actually not going to stick around in the Dwarven territory, because I wanted to do two things from a lore perspective. That is, to go into some human territory and to go after the Skaven as well, which we'll talk about more later. Well, on my way west, we saw a Chaos army, it saw me apparently, and it comes down into the underway to fight. Looks like we have a big advantage, but I wanted to do this manually, mainly because I suspected we'd take no losses any manual resolve, and we're not in a good position to replenish losses. The enemy hell cannon is fixated on shooting at my gyrocopters. That's perfect because it will just mostly miss and won't interrupt the battle happening up further down the tunnel, where of course we'll just do the thing. That is nothing in gameplay terms. We'll just wait for our units to kill the enemy. They do charge in and get in amongst us pretty well. Lots of Chaos Knights coming into the back of our lines. That's the right thing to do really. They need to get our Gatling gunners and our rocket launchers into melee with something. It's only because the AI doesn't really pay attention to the gaps in your line that this strategy works at all. Occasionally something goes through, but they usually tank onto, well, a literal tank in this case, something in front of the gunners, and it's all fine. So while there are enemies all over our formation, they're getting killed pretty quick and everything else is either running away or not really participating. Their commander here glitches out and starts running about in a circle in front of our formation. That's what we like to see, I suppose. I'm just continuing the battle to kill as much stuff as possible, since we might as well in this situation. I'm not going to pursue the enemy, but I'll kill everything that's sitting in front of me to get to this result, and indeed we didn't really lose anything. They lost quite a lot, and that will be that. We're doing pretty well against Chaos so far. Whenever they come at us, we've just hit them down. As long as it's one stack, we've got enough ammunition to deal with them. I'm not going to finish those guys off because I wanted to continue my quest, so I go to the southwest. But now Chaos has a bit of a surprise for me. Archaon the Everchosen was actually nearby, or I should say one of the two Archaon the Everchosens. Well, this one comes at us with a powerful army by the looks of things. Look at that balance bar, that's quite different to what we've seen recently. I suspected it was wrong because these units don't look too different to what we've seen so far. I think they've got loads of balance bar power there, because they do have some powerful artillery, they've got some dragons and a high level command on top of it all, and that's making it all look very strong. But we are in the underway, so we've got the enemy stuck in front of us, we'll just pull off the usual plan. There's action right away because on the first frame the AI spawns a unit on my gun line here with a magical attack as well, doing some decent damage to the prospectors. Then these chaos spawn, well, they're annoying, but they have to face everything. Well, not even everything, because I couldn't be bothered to turn all of my units and mess up my formation to have everything attack them. So a few units shoot them down, and then that was that. We're now going to send the gyrocopters out to stop the enemy hell cannons. However, things go a bit different to normal. Usually the AI ignores you if you do this. This time they decided to try and stop the gyrocopters with their flyers. And they've got two right here. One of the gyrocopters gets stopped and is now being pounded upon. I was giving it some orders to try and get out of there, but these things don't have that much health and it quickly gets taken out. So that's that, unfortunately. We've lost the unit inside as well. But one gyrocopter did get past without the enemy paying attention to it. So they'll soon be able to set up and shoot into these hell cannons, one of them being a special hell cannon. They are doing some serious damage to our front lines because they're nice and accurate and nice and powerful. But we're going to be doing much more back to them, as mentioned earlier. We have the true artillery exploits, so probably shouldn't complain. These cavalry are trying to get towards us but are being held back by walls of bullets coming from those Gatling guns, which occasionally even kill them. The bullets aren't very sharp, I guess. The Chaos guys just tank them half the time. Sometimes we grab the kill. The dragons come to the back here to fight with Aldor. That might be an okay matchup. Aldor has pretty high stats in his tank, especially health and defense. In comes a Manticore as well. But now this guy is facing the wall of bullets, and this Manticore goes down pretty quickly actually. So that's handy. One hero out of the running. And the torpedo launchers, the rocket launchers, are doing their thing to the approaching infantry as usual. This replay actually isn't that accurate as I recall. We have Story here going to fight the dragon with Aldor, and Archon's back here as well. I think Archon wasn't actually here. Looks like Kazran's routing. He wasn't routing. I think maybe Archon stayed at the back. That was the difference between the real battle and the replay. So things have gone a little bit differently. But the idea is the same. Stuff gets locked in combat with the tanks and gets shot. There goes Archon. In the real fight, I think he died right at the end. Everything else, well, having a pretty hard time. Some of them got into combat but had the same treatment as Archon there, just getting shot to pieces. And broadly speaking, the plan works. It just works a bit less than usual because we lost some of our stuff to the enemy's artillery bombardments. And the enemy, of course, are quite good. They're all max level. They're probably buffed by Archaon the Everchosen being around as well. Here's a quick look at the live footage in slow motion as well. Things were a bit more dramatic because Story duelled with Archaon the Everchosen and lost, and then somebody else killed him, maybe even Kazran. Probably would have been better if that's what happened in the replay, so I had good footage of it. Well, things broadly speaking went the same. Here is the final result. We're down one gyrocopter and one Story, one Thane. Everything else is alive enough for our purposes. Whereas on Archaon the Everchosen's side, well, it's looking pretty bad. We've now defeated one of the two Everchosens. Whether the game will treat this as the important event it's supposed to be, I don't know. I can't even remember the rules. Maybe you have to defeat Archaon and the other characters at the same time to stop Chaos from respawning, but I think if you just kill them one by one, they'll constantly respawn back up in the corner or something. Probably different in this mod as well, so I have no hope of knowing at this stage. We won that battle, that's all we can say. There is some good news coming through. The humans are dead. The main human faction, Reichland, has finally been taken out, so that's a sign that Chaos are doing their job. I was going to head to the west from here, but since we're really damaged and we're missing some units, I thought let's go south instead. There's a probably not very defended settlement down there. We could just sit in it and get our troops back for a bit, so we'll start heading in that direction. I decided to take a look at how the old world is doing in general, and it's suitably dead by the looks of things. Most of the Empire is gone, perhaps even all of it. Some big blobs of chaos wandering around together, with Sigvald leading the way over there. There are still pockets that Chaos needs to take out. Looks like there are some elves or something in those mountains. Don't know what's going on there. And here is the other Archaon the Everchosen, maybe just a little bit less chosen. Well, I guess he's still the enemy faction leader. We'll probably get to him at some point, or hopefully he'll get to us. Now Aldor heads to the south, Attacks Myrmidons, there's pretty much nothing here, just some Bjornling troops who have no value to us. A bit dangerous doing the auto-resolve because we had those Prospectors nearly dead and auto-resolve likes to delete nearly dead units. Indeed, it did, so now I'll just have to buy them back again. And the Bjornlings were actually taken out by that. That was their last thing on the map, so they haven't done very well. We'll quickly build the replenishment building and start replenishing and fill out the remaining unit slots in the army, the newly made unit slots. While we're doing that, we do unfortunately have Skaven plague coming in. The Skaven use an agent to spread plague to the settlement. The army doesn't have it yet, but as we sit here finishing our recruitment, we will be getting it. That's unfortunate. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. You just have the plague now. It doesn't say when it's going to go away. You just have it. We'll see what happens. There is some minor drama back at home because we've got Chaos Rebellions. Chaos Corruption is extremely high. I think Chaos Corruption goes up the more places get raised, so the remaining unraised places will have Chaos Rebellions all the time. Luckily, our garrisons are so strong they are no threat to us whatsoever. Eventually Uldor is ready to go, Story is back alive, and our gyrocopter has been replaced with some Gatling gunners. We do have that plague though, so we're now going to take attrition all the time. As I said, I don't think there's anything we can do about that, so we just have to take that attrition and carry on as if it's not happening. I started moving to the west, my goal being to reach Skaven Blight, which is actually for a quest or a mission that we have. But before any of that, we do face another Chaos army on the way. They happen to be here and spot us in the underway. Well, it's another powerful looking Chaos army with a very high level commander. However, we're in the underway, so once again we can do the same thing we've done already a couple of times just recently. In this one I noticed the Hell Cannon shots are heat-seeking, they're guided. I feel like I haven't noticed this recently. They seem to be coming relatively straight in recent battles, but in this one they're definitely taking a curved path, and I remembered if you fire the Hell Cannon in first person mode, you can actually control the shots and make them move around the battlefield. And the AI is doing that here. I don't really know how it's doing it, but it's clearly missing and then quickly changing course at the last second. Here was an egregious example where it completely missed, then did a whole U-turn to come and try to hit us back the way it came. Well, luckily it exploded before it hit, but still pretty cheeky. The setup to take out the Hell Cannon worked in the end, and now we get to the usual work as the enemy advance into our lines. The Gatling guns and rockets do their thing, and we wait to win. We got to the victory is in your grasp point before their stuff even reached our lines. That's a good sign. Their dragon is taking a pounding. That's not going to get anywhere close to us. Everything else, well, similar story. Their infantry is either going to get gattled or rocketed to death, and I don't think they can stop us at this stage. They should have just retreated. Their giant takes a giant beating right at the end, getting shot by everything at the same time. Well, that's gotta hurt. Bringing an end to this battle. A few enemies try to retreat, but we're continuing the battle to grab as many kills as possible. They're retreating horizontally towards the edge of the map, meaning we can shoot them even more than usual. Perfect. We lost one guy, apparently. I wonder who it was. The enemy army is trashed. They'll retreat away. They are a horde, so they can just remake their army again, but for a couple of turns at least, they're off our backs. And we continue with our mission to attack Skaven Blight. I mentioned it's a quest. There's a quest that unlocks some new technology if you take Skaven Blight, so that's why I wanted to come and check it out. There's no army guarding it, so we might as well just go for that. There is action elsewhere though. Looks like Kolek Suneater is back at it again. He is attacking Karek 8 Peaks, where we have our normal dwarf themed gimmick army. There's also a bunch of beastmen showing up down in our core territories. Luckily our orc themed gimmick army is nearby and can just instantly auto-resolve them out of existence, sacrificing lots of orcs by the looks of things along the way. This commander knows how to do it. Next we see Kolek come in to make that attack at Karek 8 Peaks. This is a capital settlement, so we'll have walls and towers to help, and we'll have a bit of a garrison as well. It's only a really low level place since it's only recently been rebuilt, so we don't have any garrison buildings. We have the lowest level of towers and only the basic garrison, which isn't that good. The towers don't have area of effect, and they're not very good at stopping these siege towers, which is unfortunate. They have 2 hell cannons, and they are going to be quite good. They can shoot up and then down onto the wall to kill us up here from pretty much anywhere on the map, and they get started taking half the health off one unit at the very beginning of the battle, that's a bad sign, because they're probably going to keep doing that. I've got one unit of our rocket launchers, and they're going to be pretty effective at stopping the towers. They do tons of damage to towers, so this one goes right down, killing some of its occupants, no doubt. As for the overall plan, it's the usual wall defense, where we send tons of stuff out to just stand in front of the wall and keep our ranged units in the fight as long as possible. They'll just have to face off against those dragon ogres and have a not very good time by the looks of things here. The problem we're going to have is that we're no longer using our quintuple powered up no reload scouts to shoot the enemy. It's normal scouts, the lowest tier of units that we have, the lowest tier ranged unit anyway, and they're not that good. Meanwhile, look at how many things are killing our troops down here. It's difficult to describe how much trouble these dwarves are in, and it's only going to get worse and worse. So this plan isn't going to last very long, suffice to say. On this other wall, it's better because we have tons of troops. It's just a couple of towers approaching. I'm trying to take out the towers with this Dwarven engineer unit that shoots grenades. Surprisingly ineffective against the siege tower actually, and they're also not really shooting very much at all. I did stop the enemy's hell cannons by getting our towers to target them specifically, and they took out both the cannons themselves. Now they're just wasting time killing the crew. That's going to save us a lot of damage over the course of the battle. The rockets are now being used to take out these stationary dragon ogres that just aren't paying attention. Because they can't climb the walls, I guess they're waiting for a gate to open. But the big dragon ogres can just attack the walls and break their way in, so they are doing that right now. Whether this is better or worse than them climbing up the walls after getting past our defensive line, I don't know. It's going to buy us plenty of time because they're just standing there depleting the wall's health. Takes a while, so we'll get more shots on them. One of their towers makes it to the wall. I sent my best melee unit, the Legion Vanguard, to take them down, but we lost half the health on this unit thanks to a magical attack, and as a result we do lose that melee in the end, causing some chaos up on the walls. At least the enemy aren't getting in quite yet and are still taking plenty of damage from everything happening all over the place. Here was a nice discovery. I actually stopped a tower from reaching the walls. I always complain that you can't do this in Total War. Well, you can if there's a glitch by the looks of things. Our guys are holding the tower back so they can't deploy a unit over here. Absolutely perfect. If it means sacrificing that warrior unit to have it not fight and just sit there causing the glitch, that's perfect because the unit inside the tower is probably stronger than them, so it's a good trade. Well, now we wait and see what happens when all of these dragon ogres smash our walls up. Here we are a bit later. They're pretty dedicated. They went and smashed open loads of different ways into the town, which is still pretty good for us. They're wasting time defeating all of the different wall segments individually and getting hit a bunch of times from our ranged attacks while they're doing it. But a couple of them did actually come in through the gaps they were making to attack the town centre. We need to hold this area to continue the battle, and I had deployed some troops here with a specific plan, thinking we can take down the ogres on the capture point if we first distract them with some infantry and then use these organ guns to fire at them. Someone mentioned in the comments before that organ guns are the go-to powerful unit for the dwarves, but not our dwarves, of course. This normal dwarf artillery piece is very unimpressive. No fireworks, no explosions, it just shoots 4 small cannons. It kind of felt like this would be a good idea, like they were going to take down these easy to hit dragon ogres over the top of our troops by shooting in from the flanks. It just doesn't actually do anything because of the numbers. The enemy have tons of health and stuff, and the organ guns aren't that powerful, so we can't kill dragon ogres with them. And indeed, some of them actually come over to defeat the organ guns pretty fast, and that's just because my distraction troops died way faster than I expected. Back outside the town, well, they're still wasting time blowing up the walls. That's great, we're still landing damage on stuff. We've got some grenade launcher troops here who are shooting Skaven grenades. I think they're really effective either against only infantry or everything except infantry. It's probably only infantry, knowing my luck, and doing nothing to the dragon ogres. Another bit of wall goes down. There's no animation for it. The wall just despawns when it gets attacked. That looks pretty bad. Well, while that's going on, we're just going to lose the battle in the background. The balance bar's still not even that bad at this stage, but we're losing victory points. And actually this replay was a bit better than the real fight because the replay ends there. That means that was the point when I run out of victory points in the real battle. And that of course causes all of our units to be killed, leading to this not very good result. We lost absolutely everything and the town. We did kill a lot of their army if you look at the numbers, because all of their infantry got wrecked. It's just the dragon ogres that are still going strong. We didn't really have what it takes to take them down, and they just killed us all. Even if we hadn't lost the victory point, they might have gradually killed us all anyway over time. We probably would have taken a few of them down with us, thanks to the towers, or something. Our whole base over there on the east side of the map is over. At the start of the next part, we're going to be looking at this. It's time for Uldor to attack Skavenblight. They did actually get some troops on the inside, and they've got a full stack garrison. It's a high level settlement, I think, with the maximum level garrison building as well. Inconvenient for us, but we have various special tools to help us with attacks, like our rockets and tanks, plus I've built a couple of siege towers. So we'll go in for a siege assault next time.